Hey, what's going on guys? Welcome back to another PS5 overview / tutorial. So we actually have the release now of the umtx Jailbreak implementation from Specter that we can actually run on our PS5s. So it has now been released, a WebKit based kernel exploit and jailbreak for the PS5. So as I explained in my previous video, I'll leave a link to it if you want to get more information about what we can expect. But this is the initial release that is only supporting 2.x firmwares, but Specter is going to be porting it to higher firmwares. He does provide some additional context here. He says this vulnerability impacts 1.0 firmware to 7.61 firmware. However, firmwares above or equal to 3.0 seem to have additional mitigations that require tweaking of the exploit to work. As I'm mostly only interested in lower firmwares, this exploit doesn't support firmwares above or equal to 3.0 as of yet. Furthermore, the WebKit vulnerability that we chain with was patched in 6.0, so another WebKit exploit that achieves userland read/write will be required for these systems. Again, as I'm not focused on higher firmwares, this is left uncompleted right now. So yeah, he's mainly focused on older firmwares, 2.x, but he will be porting it to 3.x and higher. It might take a little bit longer because of the additional mitigations in those firmwares. But again, we could also get a Blu-ray drive exploit implementation at any time now that would work on potentially higher firmwares. So yeah, it will get ported to higher firmwares. It's just this is the initial release that targets 2.x firmwares right now. So luckily, I do happen to have a PS5 that is on firmware 2.30, which is one of the currently supported firmwares. So I can show you how to get it set up and running. We actually have a self-host that Specter released here, so you can host this on your own computer and connect to it over the network. Or you can use EchoStretch's site, where he has gone ahead and included the exploit built in. That'll be probably the best way because you'll get automatic updates whenever something changes. So I would recommend heading over to es7in1.site to access the exploit at the moment. So let's go ahead and take a look at this on the PS5 itself. So to get things set up with this exploit, if I grab my controller here, so this is my bare bones 2.30 system that I bought from a Not So Typical Gamer. So thanks to him for selling me this console well over a year ago. It's just been sitting in a closet for some time now. So anyway, if we head into settings and we scroll down to our system settings, of course, we're going to make sure that we go to system software update and settings and disable download update files and install update files automatically. We're going to make sure those are both turned off. Then we can go into our network settings and we can go to settings, set up an internet connection. We're going to use a wired connection and we're going to go to advanced settings here. And we're going to go to our DNS settings and change those to manual. And then we're going to enter, I'll use Nomadic's DNS, which will redirect us over, I believe, to EchoStretch's site automatically from the user guide. So we can go to 62.210.38.117. So we'll head over there, we'll set that up as our manual DNS and we'll click OK. And that will get us connected. So if we try to go to the user guide, it will probably still load the normal user guide. Oh, okay, never mind. It looks like it is loading EchoStretch's site. If it goes straight to the normal user guide, you may have to log out and log back into your profile and then go on the user guide again, and you should get access to this page. And then we can go to Specter's umtx Jailbreak. Now, if you do try this, there are situations where some internet service providers block custom DNS servers and will just redirect them to use their own DNS servers, in which case you'll still only be able to access the normal user guide, or you'll just get a blank page when you use Nomadic's DNS. So just set your DNS back to automatic and then go onto the user guide, and you can navigate through the user guide page as I'll show here. You can navigate through the user guide by going to like playstation.com/help and then going to account settings. And then from account settings, you can go to the PlayStation Store. And then from there, you can like scroll down on the PlayStation website down to their links to their YouTube channel, and then from their YouTube channel you can then go to sign into YouTube, and then you can go to privacy and terms, and then from privacy and terms you can find a link to Google, and once you get onto the Google search engine you can then just search for es7in1.site. You can go to that website and then you can get onto this page from there. So that's another way to access it if for whatever reason you're not able to use a custom DNS server. So from here, we can go ahead and select Specter's umtx Jailbreak. So we'll select the option there. We can see we're on current firmware 2.30. We're going to wait for it to cache, and now we can run the jailbreak. So I've already ran this once, and I did not get a crash. So it was pretty stable, but it did take a while to actually load the first time. So quite quickly, we get to this cookie 0x1337, found proc. I've noticed that this jailbreak does take quite a while to load, like the kernel exploit portion seems to take quite a bit of time. Oh, never mind. Actually, this was a lot faster than the first time I ran it. Perhaps it was just particularly slow the first time, because this time it seems to have loaded a lot faster. So we can see it is running. We have got loading the elf file, elfloader.elf. Elfloader is listening on 9021. As far as I'm aware, there's not really any payloads available yet. In fact, maybe Specter put one on his... did he put a, like, Hello World test in here somewhere? Payloads? Ah, he did. There we go. So there's a Hello World payload here that we could run as a test. Let's go ahead and download that. Okay, so if we open up a payload injector like netcat GUI, we can take this hello world.elf and throw it in here and enter the IP address of our PS5 here in the host box, port number 9021. We'll inject the payload. And okay, well, we never got a notification, but I assume it loaded at least. At least it says it injected. I was expecting the Hello World notification to pop up on screen, but apparently not. Perhaps that's only for 2.0. But anyway, we've got the exploit up and running here, and also it should have enabled the debug settings. So if we go back to our home menu and then go back into the settings, we can see we now have the debug settings enabled. So debug settings enabled on a 2.x firmware. We have not had a jailbreak on 2.x so far. A lot of people have been waiting on 2.x for some kind of new jailbreak. Temptation has always been there to update to 3.x or 4.x because they already had a jailbreak. But if you were able to stay on your 2.x firmware, you should now be able to access this new jailbreak here. And who knows, we might get a full jailbreak in the sense of a hypervisor exploit, because we know that these firmwares, these 2.x firmwares, are vulnerable to a hypervisor exploit that has not been released. But perhaps it will be now that we have a public kernel exploit now available for our 2.x firmwares. So that's where we are with this new exploit, PS5 umtx Jailbreak. Not to be understated, I know some people will be maybe disappointed that it's only 2.x firmwares, but that's only temporary. You should watch my previous video that goes over, you know, the kind of roadmap for what's going to happen. But the next thing will be obviously 3.x firmwares up to 5.x will be worked on next. Obviously, there are some additional mitigations, so it may require a little bit more work, but that will be the next thing that will be ported, will be 3.x up to 5.x. So if you're on a 5.x firmware, you will be able to eventually load this jailbreak through the web browser as well. And then for everybody else who's waiting on 6.x and 7.x firmwares, there will most likely be a Blu-ray drive implementation at some point where we'll be able to run the jailbreak from a Blu-ray disc while we wait for some kind of new WebKit exploit to be released for those higher firmwares. So yeah, anyway, that's where we are right now. Hope you guys enjoyed this video or found the information useful. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe. And once again, I'll hopefully see you guys in the next video.